Building wealth often feels like an exhausting upward struggle against a financial goal that seems impossible to reach. Most financial gurus suggest you need $1 million net worth to finally achieve security, setting a bar so high it feels disconnected from reality. When you fixate on a massive seven-figure target, every daily purchase becomes a source of stress. You end up trapped in a cycle of decision fatigue, constantly calculating if a single cup of coffee is sabotaging your entire financial future. This obsession with the $1 million milestone actually hides the much smaller, more immediate step that dictates whether you'll ever move past living paycheck to paycheck. When your bank account is empty, your brain enters survival mode. This state consumes your mental bandwidth with immediate, short-term threats, leaving no room to think about long-term growth. Breaking this psychological cycle requires a specific mathematical threshold, exactly $20,000. Crossing this threshold shifts your perspective on money and changes how your savings accumulate. It addresses both the psychological pressure of scarcity and the slow pace of early investing. At $20,000, the resistance you've been fighting begins to drop. This is the point where financial gravity stops working against you and starts working for you. Data from Vanguard shows the immediate impact of even a small cushion. When a person reaches just $2,000 in emergency savings, the reported stress levels drop by 21%. When that buffer grows to $20,000, representing roughly 3 to 6 months of expenses, survival mode ends. This clears your cognitive bandwidth, allowing you to focus on building wealth instead of simply preserving what little you have. This buffer is what investors call walking away money. Having this cash in the bank changes your posture at work because you are no longer tethered to a single paycheck for your immediate survival. That security allows you to negotiate with confidence. You can ask for raises, push back on poor management, or explore better opportunities because the risk of a transition no longer means financial ruin. This specific amount of idle cash generates a return that doesn't show up on a bank statement. It accelerates your career and increases your lifetime earning potential. The math of wealth building starts slow. If you save $1,000 a month at an 8% return, reaching your first $20,000 takes 19 months of consistent effort. But because your first $20,000 is now generating its own interest, reaching the next $20,000 takes only 17 months. You're putting in the same effort, but the time required is shrinking. This is the power of scale. A 10% return on $2,000 is only $200, barely enough to notice. But that same 10% return on $20,000 is $2,000. At this level, your money starts producing meaningful sums of capital. These are gains you didn't have to earn through labor. They appeared simply because your existing assets were large enough to matter. Passing $20,000 marks the transition from you working for every dollar to your dollars working for you. Accumulating $20,000 is an exercise in discipline that changes your financial identity. You've proven you can control impulses and manage capital effectively. This shift allows you to stop obsessing over micro decisions. Agonizing over generic brands or the price of gas is a broke brain habit that consumes energy without significantly moving the needle on your net worth. With a solid foundation, you can redirect that mental energy toward macro decisions. You start looking at housing costs, your salary negotiations, and investment strategies, the choices that actually swing your net worth by thousands of dollars. Letting go of budget fatigue over pennies is necessary to develop the perspective needed to manage much larger sums of money. Many people fail at this stage because they treat their first $20,000 as a reward to be spent, rather than a seed to be planted. The most common mistake is using that money as a down payment on a new $30,000 car. The moment you drive away, the car loses 20% of its value, effectively erasing months of your hard work. This chart compares the car's depreciation against the opportunity cost of that money. Over 20 years, the cash spent on the car could have grown into over $200,000 if left in a diversified portfolio. Choosing to drive a reliable used car while your investments grow is a strategic decision. It ensures your capital remains positioned for long-term freedom. $20,000 provides the most valuable asset in any financial portfolio: options. It allows you to move from a life of reacting to financial pressure to a position of designing your own future.